Let's go, Falcons fans. We're bringing you the latest behind-the-scenes news, including team highlights, star performances, and rumors about the future of the Atlanta Falcons. So stick around until the end to stay up to date. And don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's kick things off with none other than Drake London, our star wide receiver. He's been getting some serious respect from his teammate Bijan Robinson. And when I say serious respect, I mean Robinson straight up called London the toughest player he's ever played with. That's a huge statement coming from someone as talented as Robinson. Here's what he had to say. Drake is the coolest guy off the field, like the absolute coolest. But when he steps on that field, he just wants to dominate whoever's in front of him. It doesn't matter who it is. He's different, man. And you know what? He's not wrong. London had a monster season in 2024. 100 receptions, 271 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's elite. And if you add Robinson's insane stats, 1,456 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, and 431 receiving yards, you're looking at one of the most explosive duos in the league. But here's the crazy part. London didn't make the Pro Bowl, not as a starter, not even as a reserve. How did that happen? We're talking about a guy who put up better numbers than some of the receivers who made the cut. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Terry McLaurin. And don't even get me started on the reserves. Mike Evans, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Malik Neighbors, and A.J. Brown. Respect to them, but London deserved a spot too. Still, the future looks ridiculously bright for this offense. With London, Robinson, and Kyle Pitts, this team is stacked with talent. And let's not forget Michael Penix Jr., who took over at quarterback late in the season. In just 3 games with Penix under center, London has exploded. 22 catches, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's instant chemistry. You can feel the connection forming between Penix and London, and it's going to be special in 2025. So yeah, maybe the Pro Bowl voters got it wrong this year, but you can bet London will prove them wrong next season. And with Robinson hyping him up as the most dominant player on the field, this team is ready to make some noise. Now, Falcons Nation, it's your turn. What do you think about Robinson's comments on London? How do you feel about the Pro Bowl snub? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. But don't go anywhere. Up next, we're talking about the rookie quarterback who's turning heads and just got a big shout out from one of the greatest to ever do it. Stay tuned. Michael Vick has spoken. Penix is the guy. Yep, you heard that right. From one left-handed gunslinger to another, Falcons legend Michael Vick believes Michael Penix Jr. could be the long-term answer for this franchise. Now let's rewind a bit. Penix has always looked up to Vick. As a kid, he called him his favorite quarterback, admiring how he dominated both in the air and on the ground. And honestly, who wouldn't? Vick changed the game, becoming one of the most electrifying players in NFL history. But here's where it gets really interesting. Just 2 days before the Super Bowl, Vick took some time to reflect on Penix's late-season performance. And according to him, Penix has shown enough promise to be considered the guy moving forward in Atlanta. Here's what Vick had to say. I think Michael was balanced. Obviously, he could have used those reps earlier in the year, but when it was his time, he stepped up. I see myself in him, coming in late when the games really mattered. I couldn't do that back then, but he showed enough to prove he's the future. That's high praise coming from a guy who knows exactly what it's like to be a young quarterback carrying the weight of Atlanta's expectations. Let's not forget, Vick was the #1 overall pick in 2001, made 3 Pro Bowls with the Falcons, and completely redefined the quarterback position. And let's talk about Penix's numbers in those final 3 games. 58 completions on 100 attempts, 737 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. But his best performance? That last game against Carolina. 312 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and he pushed the game to overtime before a tough 44-38 loss. Vick didn't hold back his confidence in Penix, saying, "It's his team now, and I expect big things from him. We know he can do it. We saw him do it in college. I don't think quarterback is a problem for the Falcons moving forward." Now, we all remember Vick's second season in the NFL. It was legendary. He made the Pro Bowl and finished 4th in MVP voting. Could Penix follow in his footsteps in 2025? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, he's got the tools, the talent, and now the endorsement of a Falcons legend. Now, Falcons fans, it's your turn. Do you think Michael Penix Jr. is the future of this franchise? Can he live up to the hype that comes with Vick's endorsement? Drop your thoughts in the comments. But hold on, because the Falcons have some tough offseason decisions ahead. What's next for this roster? And could veteran defensive end Lorenzo Carter be on the way out? Let's talk about it. Let's be real. Lorenzo Carter's 2024 season was disappointing. He started 11 games, played in 13, and was on the field for nearly half of the defensive snaps. And yet, somehow, he finished the season with 0 sacks, the first time that's ever happened in his career. And that's not all. Carter's overall production was underwhelming. 32 total tackles, only 3 total pressures all season. If you're wondering how that stacks up against other edge rushers, it's not good. According to Pro Football Focus, Carter ranked 194th out of 211 qualified players at his position. That's a major red flag for a defense that already struggled, finishing 19th in opponent yards per play. And when it came to coverage, even worse. 13 receptions allowed on 13 targets, 115 yards given up, 103.5 passer rating allowed. Yikes. So, should the Falcons bring Carter back in 2025? Honestly, it's hard to justify. If you can't rush the passer, struggle against the run, and aren't effective in coverage, what's your role on a team trying to build a contender? Letting Carter walk in free agency could be a classic case of addition by subtraction, freeing up space to bring in younger, more dynamic talent. And with the 15th overall pick in the upcoming draft, the Falcons have a golden opportunity to strengthen their defensive front. We already have our quarterback of the future in Michael Penix Jr., and the offense is in a solid place. Now it's time to focus on defense. That means 2 things. 1, targeting a game-changing edge rusher or defensive lineman in the draft. 2, being aggressive in free agency to land proven defensive playmakers. If the Falcons want to compete at a higher level next season, they can't afford to play it safe. Of course, saying goodbye to a veteran is never easy, especially one who once showed great promise. But sometimes, moving on is the best decision for both the player and the team. And unfortunately for Carter, that seems to be the reality he's facing as the Falcons look ahead. Now, Falcons Nation, it's your turn. Should the team move on from Lorenzo Carter and invest in new defensive talent, or do you think he deserves another shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more exclusive Falcons content. Go Falcons!